Now to an update out of Delphi, Indiana, and the search for a killer. This is a case we have been following closely here on Prime. Transcripts from a police interview detail some of Libby German and Abby Williams' final conversations before the girls were killed. In 2017, the best friends went for a walk on a popular trail in Delphi, but they never returned home. Their bodies were later discovered near the Monon High Bridge. No one has ever been arrested in the case and in their deaths, but there is this short video, and it shows a man approaching the girls, and there is an audio clip of him saying, "Down the hill." Libby took that video. Could these new transcripts that are now coming to light offer some clues into who murdered the girls? Kelly Beeson is here with what we have learned, and police have remained very tight-lipped about where they're at in the case.
They have, and these are some breaking new details, Marnie. One of the most compelling pieces details a back and forth a man named Keegan Klein had with investigators after he was arrested and charged with sex crimes in 2020. During that exchange, Klein is insistent he did not kill Abby or Libby. It's a story that's haunted the tight-knit community of Delphi, Indiana for years. Two teenage girls, Libby German and Abby Williams, found murdered near a community hiking trail in 2017. The best evidence police have of the girls' suspected killer came from video on Libby's cell phone and this audio recording with a voice seeming to say, the same phone also holding other leads, including conversations with a social media account under the name Anthony Schatz. But the man behind the account is not the man in these photos. It's this man, Keegan Klein, who was arrested for 30 counts of child solicitation, child exploitation, and possession of child pornography based on what was found on his electronic devices. During his interrogation by authorities, Klein was confronted with the knowledge that detectives knew he was communicating with Libby and/or her friends the night before she disappeared. "I literally have no clue how that girl died," Klein said. "Yeah, it's a weird-ass coincidence that I happened to talk to her. Like, I get that." Last December 9th, Klein talked to a writer who visited him in the Miami County Jail. "Do you think your dad could have been accessing that profile?" Klein is asked. "Yeah, I do," he says. "You think he may have been using that profile to talk to girls?" he's asked. "Yeah," says Klein. "That's the only other person that could have because he lived there. You know what I mean? So you guys had all access to the same electronic items?" he is asked. "Right?" "Yeah." State police issued a statement to one of our local affiliates this afternoon, making it clear that police did not release this transcript. They're declining to comment, Marnie, due to the ongoing investigation.
And not to compromise the investigation as well. Kelly, thank you. I want to bring in Anya Kane and Kevin Greeley. They're hosts of the Murder Sheet podcast and were the first to obtain these transcripts. They are both joining us live tonight. Thank you both. As I've said, law enforcement working this case have kept all of the details, the evidence of the investigation very close to the chest. They have not revealed much, even the relation with Keegan Klein. How did you get a hold of this transcript?
I happen to be an attorney here in the state of Indiana, and attorneys here have access to a court database where documents from all court cases in the state of Indiana are posted, not just cases you may happen to be involved in. And I went to check to see if there was any progress in the Keegan Klein case, and I saw to my surprise that these two documents had been posted. And so I quickly downloaded them, and as I started reading them, I became aware that there were a lot of details in them that should actually have not been made public, such as names of innocent people. And that's when I realized that those documents had been posted in error. And in fact, shortly thereafter, they were removed from the website.
So, Kevin, how are police responding? Have you spoken with investigators who are working the case?
We reached out to law enforcement as soon as we got the documents, and we let them know what we had. And I can't really go into a lot of detail, but I can say that after those conversations, we were left with the strong impression that releasing these transcripts would not cause any damage to the investigation, as long as we cut out the names of innocent people, such as victims or associates of the Klein family who had nothing to do with these awful crimes.
What stood out to both of you? Anya, you can chime in on this, reading the exchange between Keegan Klein and investigators.
Absolutely. It's a completely chilling document. You have all of this really horrific information about child sexual abuse materials, and those are the charges that Keegan is currently facing. And then on the other hand, you have now this link with the Delphi murders, and police basically grilling Keegan on, why was the Anthony Schatz account communicating with Libby German shortly before her murder, and why was the Anthony Schatz account saying that it was supposed to meet Liberty the day of the murders, but that she never showed up. So you're starting to see this link form between Keegan Klein, the Anthony Schatz account, and the Delphi murders. So it's making this clear, what we've known since December 2021, when Keegan Klein sort of first came on the public radar.
But he was on the radar of police much sooner than that, right? They questioned him weeks after the girls' bodies turned up, correct?
Yes, that's right. He says, and the police say in the interview, that he was polygraphed shortly after the murders, about 2 weeks later.
So tell people at home who aren't as familiar with this case as we are, who he is, where he's been in the time they questioned him from the start until his arrest, and now he's in jail.
Yeah, absolutely. Keegan Anthony Klein is a 27-year-old Indiana native. He's from the area near Delphi, around Peru, Indiana. Spent time in Young America, Indiana, growing up. We've actually talked to a few of his friends and people who knew him. They all described him as, somebody who never really had a consistent job. He would often brag a lot about being very much into the drug trade and being a musician and whatnot, but people sort of learn to take that with a grain of salt. But the people we spoke to were utterly shocked by some of the charges against him regarding the child sexual abuse materials. They thought he was pretty harmless.
Kevin, has he ever been named a person of interest in the girls' deaths?
He's never been officially named a person of interest in the girl's death. However, because of his communications with her, his home was searched within a couple of weeks after the murders of these girls. And at that time, according to these documents, he was given a polygraph test about the murders and his knowledge of them. And according to Klein in these documents, he failed that test.
I just have a couple of seconds left. Anya, I'll let you take this last one. It's been 5 years, no major leads. Many of the folks who follow this case closely, with the video and evidence that we do have, wonder, why haven't we had an arrest in the case? Police have made it seem like they're close. Do you believe they are?
Having reviewed this transcript, I do. It seems like they're very much on a path here, looking into this Keegan Klein case and its associates. And so we think that they may be onto something with this.
Let's hope so. Anya and Kevin, appreciate your time on this. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.